Hey, hey, how are you? This is Jill Bullock of Jill and Trell, and one of the founders of Detour Movement Inc. And you see, I'm getting my groove on with no music at all. Hey, I just love to dance, you guys. So anyway, I'm laughing and joking, but today we actually are going to be talking about a pretty serious topic, and I am like just so stoked that you decided to ping in onto this YouTube channel. So thank you. So let's get to it. Let's talk about what is a soul tie. Like, let's be clear, because you probably heard of it and you've been curious and wondering exactly what that is and why it's such a popular topic and just kind of been going around. It's just been out in the air. Everybody's talking about soul ties right now. So let me just take a minute to tell you. Well, actually, let me take a minute to introduce myself first, and then I'm gonna take a minute to tell you a little bit about soul ties. As I mentioned, my name is Jill Bullock, and I'm one of the founders of Detour Movement Inc. We believe when you renew your mind, you transform your entire life, your relationships, and your business, right? And I am just really deeply passionate about helping women, perhaps just like yourself, make the right choice when it comes to your dating relationships. I don't take it as a joke. Let me tell you, who you decide to connect yourself with will change the trajectory, the course of your life. So we want to make sure that you put a lot of time and attention into that and not just let it be a subconscious, like just off a whim type of decision. So that's what I do. So today I'm going to share with you a little bit about soul ties, because it's so important for you to first know what they are, know what the signs are, know how they're formed. That's what I'm going to cover in this video. And then in another video, I'm going to cover how do you break soul ties. So this is going to be good. So anyway, dealing with soul ties, what is it? It's an emotional bond that you have with somebody, right? If you think about it, when God created you, He created your body, and He created you with sound, your five senses, right? Sound, sight, smell, touch, taste, which connects you to the outside, to His entire creation. He created your body, right? And with that body, He created you with a soul. And your soul has your will, has your mind, and it has your emotions. And all of this ties and creates your spirit, right? Which connects you back to God. So if I told you that a soul tie is an emotional bondage or bond that you have with somebody, then that's why it is considered a soul tie, because your emotions is one of the three core parts of your soul, right? Absolutely. So that's why. So, when you're talking about emotional soul ties, or just soul ties in general, like it could be healthy or unhealthy. Right? A lot of times we think of unhealthy soul ties, but it could also be healthy. But before I even go into that distinction, let me just take a second to tell you that it is also important to know how these things are formed. Okay, how is the soul tie formed? It's formed really through a couple of ways. One is through your verbal commitment, making a verbal commitment or promise to someone that you're going to do something. Even when you say, hey, yes, I'm going to be your girlfriend. Hey, yes, I'm going to be your boyfriend, whatever that is. In that case, you can be starting to form that first steps of a soul tie because of that physical connection that comes with that type of commitment, right? Even in a marriage, you see that when people exchange vows, they're making that commitment to be one with each other. And really, that's what talking about soul ties, and especially sexual soul ties, is talking about being one with that person. And I'll get into that a little bit more. But so it's formed by verbal commitment. It's also formed by just spending a lot of being in the same physical space with someone, spending a lot of time holding hands, kissing, hugging, all of that, communicating, talking. Even you can form a soul tie through a long distance relationship, talking on the phone all the time. It's just when you spend an excessive amount of time with somebody that can create it as well. And obviously sexually, which is some of the deepest levels of soul tie, because during a sexual encounter with somebody that's not your husband, you're transferring spirits. And whatever spirits and things they have, you will have the same thing. I actually had an opportunity to hear someone talk about a soul tie that they had, and they were sharing that somebody had been molested when they were younger. And if that's the case, if somebody's been molested, or if they had certain sexual promiscuity or whatever that they've been with and people they've been with, that can transfer on you. Even it could be homosexuality, These different spirits can transfer onto you during a sexual relationship, because as a woman, for example, when you have sex with a man, he's depositing his spirit onto you, right? And so whatever things he's been exposed to individually can come on you. The things that the other women that he's been with can be exposed to you. And it's the same things for the guys. If you're dating a woman and she's been through a lot, if she hasn't been able to break those soul ties and bondage, whatever she's been through, even as an individual, she was molested, whatever that was, it can transfer onto you. So you have to be very, very careful about, getting into these relationships and just being with people, because it really can impact your soul. Because what I told you, your soul, God created you with a spirit, right? And that spirit makes up your soul and connects you to God. But sometimes it gets displaced, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit. So when we're talking about a healthy soul tie, this is generally in the institution of marriage. It's a healthy relationship, where two people are connected. And I have two biblical examples I want to share with you about godly soul ties, or, godly connections. And it was in 1 Samuel 18:1. And it says, "Now when he had finished speaking to Saul, the soul of Jonathan was kin to the soul of David. And Jonathan loved him as his own soul." Right? Jonathan loved him as his own soul. So this is more like a mentoring type of relationship where there was a closeness. When I think about the type of loves, and I think about phileo love, this is what I think about, this type of brotherly love, caring for one another, kind of like you may have for a sister or a niece or something like that, and having that emotional connection and tie, right? And also we'll see it in the institution of marriage, when God talks about this in Ephesians 5:22 through 33. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it says here, "Wives, submit to your own husband as to the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, as also Christ is the head of the church, and he is the Savior of the body. Therefore, just as the church is subject to Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything." And it goes on to talk about husbands. "Love your wife just as Christ also loved the church and give himself for her." So those are type of healthy types of soul tie. Let's talk a little bit about the unhealthy soul ties. And those are the soul ties that we really need to nip in the bud and be freed from, which I'm going to talk about in the next video. But I need you to understand what it is to see if this is you. So unhealthy soul ties is sometimes that you may be dealing with unhealthy soul tie is if you have a thought thinking about past relationships and experience, whether it's from a dreaming, fantasizing, or just reminiscing type of way about a past relationship you were in that wasn't healthy. Or perhaps you're in a relationship right now and the relationship is not healthy for you. And what do you mean not healthy, Jill? What does that mean exactly? Well, when I say it's not healthy, it may be a abusive relationship, verbally, physically. It may be in a relationship where you're having sex with someone that's not your husband. That's unhealthy relationship from the Christian perspective, right? So those are all things that you don't want to be involved in. And that's, in those cases, soul ties have formed and it's causing you to be stuck. Think about it almost like a dog being on a leash, right? And that dog on a leash can only go as far as that leash will allow him. And that's the same thing when you're caught up in a unhealthy emotional tie or soul tie. You are connected and you can't go but so far, because God has destined you for greatness. He's called you, the scripture in Jeremiah 29:11, he called you to, have a future, to hope and to be prosperous, but you're going to be limited because you have displaced loyalty. When you into soul ties, rather than submitting yourself to God and doing his will, you end up having what I call displaced loyalty, and you're submitting to your own flesh, and you're just submitting to the man or whoever, woman or whatever the case may be. You're not submitting to God. You have a displacement of where your commitment and loyalty lies, and that's why we say it's a soul tie. So just wanted to check and see if I missed anything, because I wanted to make sure I covered everything, to make sure you really have a clear understanding of what is a soul tie. So it looks like I covered everything on there. So if you have, I want to hear what you have to say about it. What do you think is soul ties? Have you experienced soul ties? Also, would you want to share something about how you broke those soul ties? Would love to hear it. Or other signs that people may have soul ties. So I'm so glad you joined this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed the video, would you subscribe to this YouTube channel? Okay, and also make sure you check out our website, where there's a bunch of cool stuff. A lot of blogs to talk about relationships, dating, from the Christian's perspective. You would just love it. And we have a lot of free resources. So make sure you sign up to be on our newsletter so we can keep you in the know. And plan to mark your calendars for August 6th and 7th for the Fabulous I Am Women's Conference that happens every year, and it's going down this year in 2016. And you do not want to be, listen, you want to be there or be square, because we're going to be diving deep talking about relationships. We're going to be diving deep talking about business. And lastly but not least, I want to share with you that I am an Amazon best-selling author. I guess I should have said that at the beginning, huh? I am an Amazon best-selling author of the book, The Biggest Lies Women Believe About Men Dating Themselves and Discovering the Truth of a Fabulous Life and Fabulous Relationships. And you can go to thebiggestlieswomenbelieve.com and cop you a copy, because you need to know that in your life. Like, for real. Okay? Because that's what I do. Help women make the right choice in their dating relationships, and I want you to do that. Love you so much. Be blessed.